What is up, guys? He just missed it. Come on. Nugget went to jump on the chair and he fucking fell. What's really hood, guys? You get a Nugget right off the bat. There's Nuggies. He has to show himself in the video. I swear he came running over here as soon as I popped the phone up. It's like he knows. You guys want to see his butthole? There you go. Come on. There's his little asshole. He wanted to show you guys. So, I swear he wasn't doing this right before I hit record. I mean, what the hell? But, anyway, guys, what's really hood? I haven't been around a whole lot. I'm going to try to do these more. But a really cool video came out from Canadian Gamer, which originated, I believe, from Dads and Lads Gaming, that asked 10 questions to gamers, and you tag 2 people at the end of it. And, yeah, I'm going to get into this and start off with the first question. What type of games do you play? Well, anybody that comes from my channel, you know that I play tons and tons of things. I really don't select myself by genre. I mean, anywhere from platformers, adventure games, open world, sports. Recently, I'm diving into RPGs. I'm playing Final Fantasy 1 right now. So nothing really limits. I would even argue that sometimes I've played puzzle games, you know, like that Ghostbusters game on Game Boy. It was basically a puzzle game and stuff like that. I'm not afraid to play, like, you know, Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is basically a puzzle game. So there's nothing I really don't play. But I would say my favorites are, you know, your basically action-adventure platformers, I would say, are probably the most common on my channel. That's probably what I look to. That's what I gravitate towards the most. Your Castlevanias, action, platformer, adventure. Your Contras, stuff like that. Games that move that way. Ninja Gaiden. Ghosts and Goblins, you know, you're going from the left to right, you got bosses and stuff like that. It's probably my biggest type of game I play. So whatever you want to call that, I call it like action, adventure, platformers. Number 2, how much time on average do you play games? So this kind of jumps around. There's definitely times when I'm a lot busier. Lately, I've had a lot of time. Games are very prioritized, like, in my life, as in, like, hobbies. Like, when I get time to myself, I like to play games. I don't watch very many movies, if any movies. I barely ever watch movies. TV shows, barely ever. Everybody's asked me, oh, you seen the Castlevania movie or show, the Punisher show, you know, all these things that I would enjoy. But to be honest with you, I just don't spend time doing that. I mean, anymore, I don't even watch a lot of sports. I mean, I've been kind of hunkering back on that as well. I couldn't tell you, I didn't really watch any baseball this year. I just score watch. I will watch football just because it's like one day of the week and it's for like a couple hours or whatever. But it's a possibility that I will be playing video games while doing that. So games are my thing I do that I get everything done in my day, and when I have time to myself, that's what I do. So, to answer the questions, what I try to do is give myself anywhere between 2 to 4 hours, I would say every other day, because there's definitely days I get off of work and I don't want to do anything. I just chill, and I watch somebody else play or something. That's when I'm in streams and stuff like that. But really, when I have a day off, I'm looking to look for a time that I can get downstairs and I can play for at least a couple of hours, if not more. It just depends how much time I have. Do you think video games can be educational? Well, obviously, there's educational video games. This is question 3. Do you think video games can be educational? Obviously, there's educational games, so yes, but I think the question was more based around, you know, do I think games teach you things? And I've made this question a lot with people. It gets brought up a lot when games were kind of frowned upon. With some people, they still are. But I would say that games can teach you a ton in just basic problem-solving skills, and to me, that's educational, just because that's something you use every day of your life when you're at work and, you know, you're at home. You got to problem solve all the time, and games really help you to explore that. And learn to be patient. Games teach you patience, teach you perseverance, not to give up. I think all those things can be considered educational. And sometimes there really is actual educational stuff, like, you might have to add or subtract in a game. You might have to, in Bully, I heard you have to like grade papers and stuff. So nowadays it just depends what you're playing. But I think more it teaches you to problem solve, to not give up, to overcome a challenge. And I think, to me, all that stuff is important to know in life. And there's tons of games, if not every game, pretty much teaches you that. So I think it's very important. I think it's something that's very underrated, that people don't give games credit for. I think there's a lot more going into a video game than there is going into a TV show or a movie. Where in a video game, you're actually accomplishing something, where movies and TV shows, I think you're kind of just sitting there kind of, unless you're like literally watching National Geographic or something like that. Number 4, what do you like about video games? Well, a lot of the things I just named. I love the art. I love the music. I love beating stuff and getting through it. I think they're fun. It's always a great feeling when you accomplish a game and you get all the way through it. It's fun to see what the developers came up with, especially for like movie-based games and TV show-based games, that they obviously watch the movie or the TV show and things like that, and they use that character to make a game, and it's kind of cool to see what they came up with. You're kind of experiencing somebody else's art, and when it's by a publisher that you really like or something, it's cool to see what they're doing and what they did with the game. I love to see the next chapter in the character that I maybe like. Like, I'm a big fan of Ghosts and Goblins. It's nice to see, like, what's he doing now? What are they doing with that character and stuff? Obviously, just games being fun. It makes me feel like I'm working my brain. I'm thinking. I'm reacting. I'm doing all this stuff. And then when you achieve it, it feels super, super good. So, lots of things I like about video games. I could go on for an hour. Number 5. How much do you spend on video games? Well, I've spent a lot on video games. I actually am an OG collector. I collect all physical pretty much. I do play new games digital. So I'm not afraid to drop, $200-$300 on a game. I mean, I can do it. I'll make it work within the budget and stuff like that. Maybe save up for it or something like that, or sell something else that I have to get what I want. So there's really no limit when it comes to it, because I'm kind of a collector as well. So I will spend a pretty penny on video games, and it really just depends what's coming out. If nothing cool's coming out, I don't just buy every single game out there. I only buy what I want to actually play. But if there's a lot that I want to play, I'm not afraid to spend it. So really, there's no limit. I'd say if I had to give you like a limit, the most I would ever spend on a video game is probably when you start getting to be in like the $1,000 range. That's where I'd be like kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. But would I do that? Maybe, because it's going to be worth more later type of thing. I look at it as an investment. So it depends. But I would say that would be an easy, when do I really start thinking about how much I'm spending on a game? $1,000 for sure. Favorite console is easily the NES. I go on and on about my channel about the Nintendo. It was everything. It's not just the games. It's not how great they are. It's the culture. It was the time period in which they came out. It's Nintendo power. It's the TV shows. It's the characters. It's everything about that time and where we were at in our life and how great of a time that was, being a kid and growing up with that stuff. And still to this day, to go back to those times and think about that stuff and experience those games on a CRT and playing them the real way. It's just something special. The NES is so much more than just a bunch of badass games. It's so much more than that with culture. So definitely the NES, no question about it. Not to mention, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's so many good games on the console. Yes, there's a lot of bad ones too, but man, there's a lot of really good ones. And I feel like that's the first console that really had a lot of good games. And then it continued from there with Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, all that stuff. I feel like that all figured it out after. But really, I don't know if there's as many great Atari games and television games as there was just so many good NES games. To this day, I still find good NES games, which is fucking crazy because I've literally played through 300 or 400 of them probably. So it's pretty crazy. Favorite game of all time? Contra. I'm going to have to go with that right now. Now, I always say you have to flip of a coin. It depends what day you ask me. It's that or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. But as of right now, and it's been holding steady, I think overall I like Contra better. That's more of my type of game. And Contra is just an awesome game to play, any of them really. I love all the Contra games. And Contra 1 is so classic, so awesome. And I just really, really like Contra. I think anybody on my channel who watches me and knows me knows that it's Contra. I got a fucking bee flying around me. That's really awesome. But yeah, I would say Contra is definitely the game. 8, favorite game movie. I thought about this, and it was a toss-up between the two. It was either Wreck-It Ralph or the Mario movie. And it was Wreck-It Ralph for a long time, but man, I think the Mario movie kind of overtook it. Just because it was more of an actual dedicated gamer movie. More than Wreck-It Ralph had people from video games, but it wasn't a real game on there. And, you know, those weren't real game characters and stuff like that. Not all of them, not the main characters. Obviously, Wreck-It Ralph and the whole Sugar Rush thing on there was like a Mario Kart ripoff. But I like the Mario movie, man. I think they did a great freaking job. I loved all the nods in the movie to other games and stuff like that. My favorite thing in the movie was the Punch-Out restaurant with all the portraits of like Glass Joe and all the people on the in the portraits. I thought that was really awesome. Favorite game character, number 9. I went ahead and, believe it or not, I went with Arthur / John Marston from the Red Dead Redemption series. I can't think about a time when I was more connected to a story. And Arthur in Red Dead Redemption 2 really sealed me in, and I really felt the character and like cared for the character and loved the game and the environments and everything so much. I was so invested into the story to the point that when I beat the game, I was actually on like, what do you call it? That website where Cameo. I was on Cameo where I almost asked one of them to make a couple of intros for me on my channel because they were on there and Arthur was on there. John Marston's just as important in that game. It's so awesome. He was in Red Dead Redemption 1, and then he ends up being in 2. It was a prequel, and it was really fucking good. But Arthur, man, that was probably the coolest, most awesome character I can think of that I really got attached to, that I really cared about and stuff like that. Number 10, least favorite type of game. I went ahead, and it was a toss-up between like a full-time strategy game, a strategy game, live strategy, or puzzle. But I went ahead and said puzzle because even real-time strategy I would play more than I think I would play something like Dr. Mario or Tetris. I'm not a big fan of puzzle games. It's just not my thing. Games have to have more of a story and different levels, where puzzle games a lot of times are just the same thing over and over and over. One of the coolest puzzle games I did play, however, was Adventures of Lolo. I really like those. I played the first 2 so far. And I'll have to get to the third one someday. But overall, which game do I kind of pass up on most times is puzzle games. I could go without playing them, and they're just not important to me. So, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. What are the 2 people I tag in this video to answer these questions? I'm going to choose one. The first one is Linda, a.k.a. the Gamer Gal. Used to be Gamer Girl. I'd really love to hear, Linda, what you think about this stuff. It'd be really awesome to hear your take on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Freaka4. I'm going to say Freaka4. Go ahead and have at it with this. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on your favorite things here. So Freaka4, aka Linda Gamer Girl, and let's fucking add another one in here. Let's get this tag thing going here. Captain Algebra too. Captain Algebra, Linda Gamer Girl, Gamer Gal, Freak of 4, and Captain Algebra. Let's do 3 of them. Because why? There's no certified rules. We do what the fuck we want over here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just do that. Yeah, I look forward to your guys' questions if you have time. And that was a really fun video. So shout out to Dads and Lads Gaming and Canadian Gamer. Thank you for the awesome suggestion. I love tag videos. It gets everybody involved. It gets us to know each other. I love listening to the videos. It's really good stuff when you're busy and you're doing laundry or doing dishes or vacuuming or mowing or something. You put that video like that on to listen to, and then you get to learn more about somebody. So I look forward to it, guys. Hopefully you have time. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. That's the questions. Have fun. Let's go play some Final Fantasy.